Hello. So I had posted a video about a business, or sorry, a data flow model. My pitch for a perfect data environment, it was very high level. Took about 10 minutes to go through and just describe this whole thing. Where basically we're talking about a solution to a problem of a business having multiple locations and trying to manage that data so that the global organization that oversees all of these locations can work with that data. Understanding that different locations are going to potentially have different processes, different applications, and different levels of experience or quality in the work that's done. So basically each level of that data flow process involves checks and balances that eventually lead out to a good data usage point. So we start with the first level is your individual locations. In this case we had 4 in my example. Then a level of quality control, a level of data stewardship, quality control, data stewardship, and governance, and then the other level of individual locations as the data gets outputted into other works, and then another level of quality control, and then eventually that data usage all the way through. So the purpose of this here is to go over and break down those pieces just a little bit more specifically as to what they are. Oops. So that first level where you've got each level of each location of the business in there would be at your location input control part. And so I kind of changed the names to switch them over to controls as opposed to just random labels on those boxes. So this would be your location input control. And in this control of the data, you've got your process management for each location, application data management for each location, and training management for each location. So that level needs to be in place so that there's some sort of consistency, or at least an attempt to get to consistent or as consistent across the locations as possible. The next part is the import control. And so that is where we're talking about the receipt management. So is the data coming in from the location? Data type management. Let me go back a second. For that receipt management, I had given that example of being able to proactively alert users that data is not available or it's wrong or something by putting checks and balances in this import control section. Then data type management, so that's basically looking at the data and making sure that the data types are correct. If it's supposed to be a numerical value, it should be a numerical value. If it's supposed to be a text value, it should be a text value, according to whatever the business use is going to be. Data merge management, and that's just making sure that if we've got things coming from different applications, let's say in this case this is services. So let's say it's a model type that's in there. If that model is stored, or the equivalent of a model is stored in one location as one data in one system, a column name versus another system in another location's column name, we need to understand that and make sure that when it comes in to this import area that it's matched up. We're pulling the right columns. With a mouthful to say something very simple. Source data control comes next. So after that import control is all done, then the source data control, and that's just consolidated data management. So that's just making sure that that's what I referred to as the data stewardship initially. It's just putting the data together in a way that the business needs it to be seen. So, doing your aggregations and piecing out all of the data into chunks that are actionable based on report or common report type or user group or whatever the business case is. And then there's the data governance control, which is the source data quality management. So that's making sure that everything that was sourced up here is accurate, is grouped together appropriately, and without error as far as aggregations go, granularity is correct. And then source data accessibility management. So that's making sure that these chunks of data are available to the people who need them. So if there's a group or persons or whatever the case may be that need access to this data and shouldn't have access to other data, it's at this data governance control that happens. And then you've got your location output control. So once this data governance control is done, that means everything's been sourced together and that's available to the different locations to do whatever reporting that they need to do based on the business need. So on the location output control, that's going to be going back to similar to location input control in order to make sure that things go well, process management and training management. And that's mostly to make sure things are all consistent, because at this point, all of the data is consistent. Up here, none of the data is consistent, and you're just everybody's doing their own thing, and that's fine. We take care of that in the import control. At this point, all of the data is the same. So now we just need to make sure that people understand what that data is and are using it appropriately. And then finally, we've got the output quality control, and that is just making sure that the location outputs are fine. Similar to the import control, but less work involved, more just literally a quality control to check to see, all right, are they using the data appropriately? Are they presenting it in a way that's accurate, mostly? And then once you get all of that, you have qualified information for business use. So that's it. That's the summary of it so far. So it's been kind of fun to think about, so I'll probably do some more thinking on it and build it out some more at some point. But thanks for watching.